Hi, my name is Jamal Rashard McMillan, and I am the director and creator of the film B21, and this is your behind the scenes exclusive on the movie. Well, going back to like 2 years ago when the idea first came to me, it was going to be a story about a girl who just went through, a bunch of, downward spirals. Like she made a bunch of mistakes. And the original script, which was about 30 pages long, it was going to be a short film. It just highlighted the issues that are faced with decisions, and it hinted at domestic abuse, but for the most part, it wasn't anything close to the depth that is in the film now. Um, the character of Hannah, her original name was Stacy, actually, and she was primarily just a girl who was down on her luck. She ended up getting into this abusive relationship, and she was having issues with a sense of worth. And Hannah, the character, was essentially a singer at first as well, which we tried to tie it in, but we decided to change that out eventually because we wanted to focus more on the dance aspects that we integrate into the character. Oh yeah, Amber was amazing. Amber Rose Jones played the lead, Hannah Allen, and from the beginning she was 100% into the movie and into the character. She was there whenever we needed her to be. She was on time. She would stay as long as we needed to make sure we got all the shots we needed. She was asking a bunch of questions. She even wanted to give some insight into directing, which I actually love it because it shows that you're actually invested and interested into the project, not just to act, but you want to see the whole thing become successful. And from the beginning, it was really interesting because she actually auditioned for the character of Amber, and which was pretty funny because it was going to be very easy to help remember her character name because it's her name. So when we decided her to be Hannah and we got someone else to play Amber, Christy Vaughn, it was funny when we would say Amber, she would look too like, okay, you're going to start calling me by your character name. So we called her Hannah, but her nickname was also Hamber because we would say Hannah and Amber repeatedly over and over. But having Amber on board helped us to add more depth to the character because she was able to give that female perspective that was missing through the writing process, and she was able to cue us in on things that would sort of be more relatable to the aspect of how women would really perceive certain situations, how they would really respond. And the fact that Hannah's been in this relationship for 3 years, she would have some sort of mindset or reactions that wouldn't be normally deemed what's the right word, approval or necessary. And when we look at Hannah left home. Hannah left home when she was about 18, 19 years old, and she had a full ride to Juilliard. She had an amazing boyfriend, high school sweetheart, who was going to go on to law school, and they had this perfect plan to go to New York together and to live out their lives, but she decided that she wanted to follow her own path, which, at the age of 18, that's something that most people are doing. They're trying to find themselves. They don't want to be in the shadow of their parents, and Hannah felt that she was following in her mother's footsteps versus making her own. And even though it was under good intentions that she decided to leave, she still went through a ton of hardships because of the choices that she made in trying to have that level of independence. Oh yeah, Trey. Yeah, David did an amazing job with Trey. It was really funny because for the most part, he actually did not want to do Trey at first. He actually wanted to play the role of Bruce. And Trey is an interesting character because when you see him on screen, you see this aggressive, angry person who takes all of his frustration out on the people that he claims he loves. However, there's a lot of underlying issues and factors that went into his development. There's, not to spoil the movie, but there's one line of dialogue where he says, I watched my dad beat my mom, And it's the whole argument of nature versus nurture, where children will sort of imitate what they see on a repetitive basis. If they feel something is in the norm or acceptable by the adults that they are learning from, then they tend to incorporate those aspects of their and then to incorporate those aspects into their own life. And so we want to sort of straddle the fence in a way where he has moments where you think he's this calm normal guy, but then he has those triggers which would instantly set him off. And David did an amazing job. Like I fought to keep him as Trey because there was no one else that I really felt that would have done the role of justice that was absolutely needed to secure it in the way. And also the chemistry between him and Amber was amazing as well from the get-go. Like even from the table read, you could see that they were going to be able to get that level of depth and understanding into the character. And so, and having them on set together was a blast, and we were able to knock out scenes. And I was able to, really direct them in the way that I was perceiving in my head how it should go. And they were able to incorporate their own spin to the characters, and so I was really grateful for their presence together. Yeah. Acting, directing at the same time is the hardest thing ever. It's actually a lot of fun too. I get my first taste of doing it by myself when the guy that played Bruce, Matthew Albright, we had an office scene together, and I couldn't get anyone to come help with the camera work or anything, so we had to literally direct the scene, place the shots. I was using him as my stand-in to get the angles. Then we would go shoot it. And so it was funny because whenever I show certain people the scene, they go, "Oh wow, you must have shot this with 2 cameras because it's very fluid." Like, no, we did that with 1 camera, and it took us like 3 hours to do it, but we were able to knock it out. Desmond Davis is he's a real simple character. He was Hannah's high school sweetheart, and she left him. But in the time that, in the 10-year span from when she left him when he finally meets her again, he went through this sort of transformation where his father died. He started to put himself into work. He was running for office now. So it's a lot of dimension as far as like his ambitions. Like, he's very ambitious. He's very goal oriented. But because of the lack of love in his life, he sort of boxes himself up into this wanting to work. There you go, Rihanna. And pretty much the emphasis is he has this like nonchalant attitude. But when Hannah comes back, it's like in his mind everything has lined up back to where it should have been. So he doesn't have this anger and resentment and bitterness towards her. It's more of, wow, you're back. I love you. I've never stopped loving you. And it's sort of like the romantic dynamic that Hannah has been missing in her life, because with Trey being abusive and really pushing her to have issues with her self-worth and understanding who she is as a person, we now have the reverse, the antithesis of Trey, where he is, showing her the love and the adoration, and it's to the point where she's sort of like, I don't deserve this. What should I do? Like, do I really deserve this amazing guy? And you really start to see that, and Amber did a great job of really, giving the expressions, because when Desmond would say something like, I love you, or you're beautiful, she would give like this look like, thank you. And not because she doesn't feel that she is, but she doesn't feel she deserves the affection that's coming from him. I'm really grateful for the other castmates. We got Christy playing Amber, Savannah Lawrence playing Mackenzie. That was an interesting dynamic, like her being the sister that your sister left you 10 years ago, you've grown up, and now she's trying to come back and be big sister, and you're like, I don't need you anymore. You don't really trust that she's going to be there for you. And so Savannah did a great job with that. Renee Chahoy as the mom, Rachel Allen, and like the 3 of them together, you would feel like that they were actually family. Their chemistry was off the charts in the movie, and even people, when I showed them certain scenes, they're intrigued that they're not related because they look like they are and they act like they are, which, you know, went a long way on the film. Chrissy Vaughn as Amber was a great addition as well, and we incorporated her a little bit more into the story from the original script, because I felt that having that best friend, that sort of conscience, that would sort of push Hannah to leave, and also to check up on her to make sure that she is doing what she needs to do to be successful. I think that was a great thing to add on. And Chrissy did a great job, and she was also the choreographer of the film, so having her on set multiple times was great. We had a cast of 60 actors, and if I went through and named each and every one of them right now, this video probably would be an hour long. But I am grateful to every single actor, crew member that helped to get this production underway, and we will, we're in post-production now. We're finishing up just a few minor B-roll scenes, and we'll be ready to go soon. Back to One, coming to theaters this May.